This is the E-Commerce Edge podcast with your host, Jason Greenwood. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the podcast. I have a couple of amazing guests along with me for the session today. We have Yoav, Oz, and I'm sure I'm going to butcher this. I'm going to give it my best shot. Shauli MIZRAHI from Rep AI. Welcome, gentlemen, to the podcast.
Thank you. Good to be here.
It's awesome to have you guys here with me for the ride today. And Yoav, you're based in Tel Aviv. And Shauli, you're based in the U.S. currently, right?
Yeah, exactly. In New York.
Yeah, love it. Love it. East Coast. Yeah, huge powerhouses coming out of Israel. It's amazing. I think I've had now 10 or 12 different major tech players in the e-com, omnichannel, digital retail tech space on the podcast over the last couple of years. So definitely Israeli innovation is alive and well, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Live and kicking.
Especially from a high-tech perspective. And one of the other things I've learned about the Israeli tech sector, particularly as it relates to e-com, is that it is extremely tight-knit. It's more collaborative than it is competitive. And a lot of the guests that I've had on from Israeli tech companies, they know a lot of other tech founders. And there definitely is more of a sense of support and collaboration than competition. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it's for us, second time it's the second time that we're building a startup. And I can say that Israel is very small. People know each other and trying to support each other. And competition is high to raise capital and to grow companies. And when you're trying to go abroad and sell to the US, any help that you can get from fellow entrepreneurs, it's welcome. And people like to help each other, to see more people succeeding together.
I would even say it's a real live community, and there are so many groups and meetups and people meeting each other and helping each other. And it's really nice to see that on different social media aspects and, of course, in physical meetups. So it's really great, and people help each other.
Yeah, and how did you guys, first of all, how did you guys meet each other, get to know each other? You said it's your second time working together on a startup. How did you guys get connected to each other, and how did you get connected into this wonderful, crazy world of e-com and omnichannel?
You want me to tell the story? Surely. So it's pretty funny because when it's 15 years ago, I think it started. 15 years ago. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. I was a kid searching for apartment in Tel Aviv and looking around, and then I saw like a post of a friend on Facebook. Called to the number. She invited me, interviewed me to be his roommate in an apartment in Tel Aviv. Very old apartment. We were kids in the beginning. And we got to live together as roommates for 5 years. And when you live with someone for 5 years, it's become to be a family. My wife's laughing that I used to live with Shauli more than I lived with her. Yeah. And it took us another couple of years until we decided to do something together. Each one of us went to a separate career, Shauli more on the development side and working a key position in the tech scene. Until he got even to be like a VP R&D for a company that got sold. I started my own startup, which got sold to another company. And when both of us came to a conclusion that we want to do something together, it happened because we saw a huge pain that happened to us, and we started talking about it. And after a few months of talking about it and having the same experience, the same problem, when thinking what we're going to do next, we said, okay, it's big enough. Let's do something about it.
I love that. So scratching an itch, right?
Yeah, basically.
Eating your own dog food is definitely one of the best ways to grow a startup. That's for sure. Now, if we talk about Rep, in all transparency, I've never used Rep AI before, but if we just go by what's on the tin, what's on the website, and how you pitch the platform, the product, the technology, conversational AI sales and support concierge is how I would textualize it. And using technology to be able to have automated but very targeted, very useful, very helpful conversations with customers on an e-commerce website powered by Shopify. Would that be correct?
Pretty much, yeah. It's a good pitch.
Love it. Love it. And AI is all the rage. I think nowadays, basically, unless you have AI in your name, you're probably not going to be able to get VC funding these days. So makes sense that you'd have AI in your name. That's for sure. First of all, are you guys bootstrapped, or have you taken in outside investment? I guess when you went to market with this technology, or when you came to market with this technology, because you, in theory, have been working on this for over 5 years now, right?
Yeah.
Before you started working on Rep, before AI became the buzzword on everybody's lips around our industry, and it's AI is in theory being infused into just about every single technology in the commerce stack nowadays. But you guys were earlier to the game than some of the other players that have just popped out of nowhere over the last, say, 6 to 12 months. But was it always your vision to have this technology be powered by AI?
It's funny because when we started, no one believed in what we're building. When you're talking about the market, I will separate it into two markets. One is the VCs, the other one investors, and the other one is clients. And basically, when we started everything over voice, same solution, same thing that we had, but we built amazing technology around that. What we realized is that, and the reason that we went to voice, it's because we needed capital, and was an area that no one did before for voice. When we start talking about transforming it to a chat, it came from the clients. And even before that, if to be realistic, it's all started because when I was doing online shopping, basically sold my company, I have a few months to think what I'm going to do next. In reality, what I was doing is online shopping for like 3 months. And I realized that 99% of the time when I'm coming to a website, I'm not buying a product. And when Shauli told me that he have the same experience, both of us start thinking like, why it's happening? Why I'm not buying? I saw a great product on Facebook, clicked on it, went to the website. What happened? Why I'm not buying it? We realized that e-commerce didn't change in the past 15 years. Like it's IKEA catalog with a menu and search. That's it. But we, as a consumers, change. We evolve. Technology evolves. Why there is no one on the website that can assist me with the question that I have? Like those tools that I just saw good for half a marathon. This coffee is good for my machine. I don't have time to read 8 pages about coffee in my middle of the day. I want someone to answer. I will buy it. I promise. Just help me. Like a salesperson in brick and mortar. And this is how we started. But what Shauli built was more interesting. And this took us like 2 years to build. This is a technology that we call behavioral AI. It's collecting more than 500 data points on each visitor that coming to the website and know to predict 10 seconds before he's leaving. And another layer of technology know to tell us if he have a problem in his buying journey. So the context is the problem that we can solve with all the AI and everything that we built. And when we decided to move from voice to chat with 20 brands that paid for us to build this solution for a year to have it, then we knew that we have something very interesting. Also other VCs, and then we raised capital. So for all your questions, yes, we raised $8.6 million from VCs, some of them from the US. Yes, thank you. Most of the capital came like in the past year and a half. We growing between 10 to 15% month over month, strong product market fit that we're seeing from mid-market SMBs and even enterprise now that's using us. And I think what the company is evolving, it's even more interesting.
Cool backstory. And certainly this aligns with some things that I've mentioned on this podcast previously. I think 2 things leap to mind. First of all, if you walk into a retail store, let's say you walk into a jewelry store, right? Someone's not going to a sales rep behind the counter is not just going to start plunking things on the counter to see if you like it, right? They're going to ask you a whole bunch of questions first. They're going to be curious first. They're going to ask you if you're buying for yourself or for someone else. They're going to ask you if this is for a special event or an occasion. They're going to ask you what stone you like. They're going to ask you what type of metal you like. They're going to ask you a whole series of questions before they ever pull something out of the counter to show you that you might like, right? And then they'll narrow it down, and then maybe they pull 3 or 4 things based on the answers that you give to their questions. They're going to pull out 3 or 4 things that are relevant to what you're actually looking for. They'll probably even ask you what budget you have in mind, right? So that they can narrow down. They might have 10,000 products in their jewelry store, but they don't want to show you 10,000 products. They want to show you the 3 or 4 products that are likely to pique your interest and you're likely to purchase. That's the first thing I think that you pointed out, that e-commerce hasn't really evolved that much. I think that's probably the single biggest thing that hasn't evolved, is the ability to ask smart questions and then present the right products based on the answers to those questions. I think the second thing is that when AI started to become pretty ubiquitous and I started playing with it a lot more, I thought to myself, it's probably not going to be too long where when I go to a new e-commerce website, I'm not actually going to have a menu. I'm not actually going to have a search bar. I'm going to have basically a voice interface, or I'm going to have a chat interface where basically I'm going to get asked a whole bunch of questions when I first arrive at the site before I ever am shown anything at all. Now, maybe there'll be a transition period where you'll be able to select between a classic interface, which has navigation and has search, and select between that and maybe a voice concierge interface or a chat concierge interface, so that people can make that transition between the old and the new world. But I certainly have thought for a long time that the traditional 2D flat screen type of silent interface that is very non-interactive beyond the search bar and category navigation and maybe some faceting and filtering, that I've long felt that is a very sterile type of experience versus the type of experience that you get, say, in a retail store with somebody helping you and guiding you to the right purchase. And so it feels what you guys have built and are continuing to build is something that bridges that gap between the physical experience and the digital experience. Would that be a fairly accurate assumption?
Yes. First of all, this is exactly our vision. Our vision is to, in the future, to completely replace the 2D interface of the website. Okay. And by the way, it's already acting like that. Our chat can completely replace the website. So you can do any action you want through the chat itself without using the website at all. So navigation, adding to cart, checking out everything through the chat. Okay. So on mobile devices, for example, if you go, the chat itself, chat experience interface goes above the website, and you just talk to the chat. And it does everything for you. You don't need the website. So seeing products, being navigated to products, adding products to the cart again, and checking out all through it. And by the way, this is how we started the product development. We had in our mind the idea to mimic the role of a salesperson in brick and mortar stores. How do we do that? So what we discovered basically is a few things. First of all, yes, the shopping experience itself of asking questions, having a conversation, and navigating you to a few products. Not 1,000 of products, a few products. And how do we do that? Through engaging conversations back and forth. Okay. And this is exactly what our AI does. Our AI asks you, what are you here looking for? And by the way, it's based on behavioral AI, as Yoav said. So it starts with you navigating the website by yourself, viewing a few products, and then the AI knows the context. The AI knows, okay, you viewed product A, B, and C. It knows what you're looking into. And then the conversation starts from there. Okay. And then the whole point of the conversation is to, again, show you 3 products, not more than that. Okay. Because nobody wants to see 1,000 products. And if you go to a brick and mortar store, you're not going to see 1,000 products, because the salesperson will actually make sure that, hey, this is 1, 2, 3, choose one of those. Okay. That's it. And by the way, the whole journey, the way it starts is that you walk into a brick and mortar store, you walk into an online store, right? You navigate. And what we do is start collecting those 500 different data points that you have mentioned. And we calculate in real time, what is the probability that you will not buy? Okay, when are you starting having a problem? And when is a good time for the AI to engage? And we build that based on what we see in brick and mortar. Okay, and if you walk into a store and someone says, hey, you need any help? You're probably going to say, I'm just browsing, thank you. But if you're trying to look into a few products and you have this awkward face and you're not sure, and then this person comes in and saying, hey, I've noticed you might need some help. And you say, yes, yeah, actually, I have a question. Are those shoes good for marathon? I'm a marathon runner, right? And then the sales assistant is able to actually provide help, answer questions, recommend other stuff, ask you follow-up questions. And this is exactly what we do. We collect behavior. This is online behavior of how you scroll, how you move, And all this is being ingested into a machine learning algorithm that predicts in real time, again, are you going to buy, are you not going to buy, are you going to drop off? And when we sense that, we approach, okay, the AI approaches with the context of where you are in the funnel. Okay, so if you are on a homepage or if you're on product pages, the conversation starter will be completely different based on what you did. Hey, welcome back. I saw you checked out our running shoes. Do you have any questions about them? We want some help. And then the conversation starts from there, and then it becomes an engaging conversation of back and forth to try to get you to see items. And the whole point in the AI is trained on maximizing results, sales results, trying to get you to see items, to add items to your cart, to upsell, and it's trained on doing that. So in every point, no matter where you are in the sales funnel, the conversation will be adapted to that behavior, to that context. And again, it's trained to conversion. It's trying to get you to buy products like a salesperson would.
Yeah, we just said that if you think about it, the worst experience that you have in brick and mortar is when you're coming to a store, and in the moment that you entered in, there is the salesperson jumping in and telling you, "Can I assist you?" And you're like, "Oh, give me a second. Let me look around and maybe." But a good salesperson will look at you and see what you're doing. And in the moment that you're going to all the products and look around for assistance, it can see the behavior that you have and know to come in the right moment and know to help you with what you need, because we saw what you looked for, what you checked, and what you're holding now in your hands. And it will make sure that you will not leave the store before you buy something, because you know the problem that you had. And this is what we try to mimic. That's important for us. Now, the second part that is important to understand, and it's changed in the past 6 months, but before Rep AI was exist, there was no solution for shoppers. All chat, all solutions were like for support, customers. But it's a great solution for everyone that bought a product if you need to return it, exchange address and stuff like that. But what about the people like us that came to look around? And today it's changing. There is small solution for small clients. But again, if you don't have the technology that can proactively approach and understand the problem, you're not going to change the needle, move the needle.
Yeah. And I think also, so let me pose to you a scenario, and you can tell me whether this is a scenario where Rep would be able to help me. So let's say, to use your scenario, Shauli, let's say I'm on a shoe website, and let's say I want to find, okay, show me all the Nike running shoes that are on sale, that you have in stock, that are red, that are in a size US, available in a size US 11, right? Now, obviously, you're so similar to a enterprise site search platform, etc. You're indexing all the products, you're indexing all the content, the attributes, etc. So in theory, you should be able to effectively refine based on those 3 or 4 things that I've said. Hey, show me every Nike red men's running shoe that's on sale, that's in a size 11 and it's red, right? So assuming they have a product that matches those criteria, you should be able to show me 3 options that match those criteria, correct?
Exactly.
Jason, this is a great example, and I'll tell you why. You gave it as like the way that you asked it, it's like filtering a search.
Yes. It's like filtering from a category of men's running shoes, right? And I'm going to filter by brand. I'm going to filter by brand. I'm going to filter by color. I'm going to filter by size.
Exactly. But this is how it used to work. But if you're like coming to a store, okay, let's say a Nike store, as you said, the first interaction with the sales will be like, hey, listen, can you give me running shoes in red for this and this and this and this? Give me everything. Or you will start from, if you have a conversation with, hey, how are you doing? Maybe you can assist me. By any chance you have new running shoes because they heard about something and you said, yeah, of course. And by any chance you have it in red, and it will tell you, of course, we have the new color that came, like a red Ferrari. And like my shoes have a problem when I'm running above like 12 kilometers or half a marathon. It will fit, and it will say, oh, definitely. What is the difference? That making conversation, and you can speak freely about everything. Because we speak freely, we can collect a lot of data that can help also to the brand and tell them what is the missing information. what is the topics, what you need to change. Maybe you need to change the pricing, the policies. Like the conversation is one part, but if you have a good sales assistant or concierge, it will give the feedback back to the brand. And we have 20,000 of them, not by clicking about filters, but having conversation. You're not only increasing the sales or improving the support, you're giving insights that the brand never had before because of the conversation. And this is the experience that we're having today. It's less clicking and filtering. It's more like people coming and thinking that speaking to, some of them know they're speaking to AI, but some of them think it's a human because the brand can pick the personality of the AI. So this is the conversation that we're seeing. I heard that you have a new shoe, or like things like that.
Yeah, Jason. So just to add on that, yes, by the way, if you're going to say, hey, I'm looking for A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you're going to get it. The AI will scan all the products and the AI will say, here it is. Well, I found it for you, right? The perfect shoe. But in reality, by the way, this is how it works. In reality, this is not how people interact. In reality, people interact as Yoav said, right? They come in and say, I'm looking for running shoes. Okay, great. Okay, what type of running are you doing? And then the question would come in, what type of running are you doing? You're going to say, I'm doing long distance running. Okay, great. All right, so I have a few. Do you have any specific brand in mind, or you want me to search for everything? And then you have an engaging conversation because the AI, again, is trained on seeing all the products that match, okay? And then coming up, and if it's a lot of products, the AI will come up with a follow-up question. So the AI will basically craft a follow-up question to try to narrow down the results, exactly how you described it, until you get to a few results. But again, if you come in and you have in mind the search criteria sorted out, and you're saying, I want A, B, C, D, then you're going to get 2 products, and then that's what AI is going to show. Yeah, so it can work both ways, but in reality, the engaging conversation is what we see. And actually, this is what you have said. We took that and said, okay, this is amazing because that can be crafted into insights later on that we can show the merchant, and they can improve the website experience based on how people interact with AI.
And I guess what it feels like to me is that you're combining the best of multiple worlds, in the sense that enterprise search is great. It does a great job usually of making product recommendations, etc. Search, merch, personalization engines have been all the rage for a while. We've seen a lot of mergers in this world where you used to have separate enterprise search engine, separate personalization engine, separate merchandising engine. Now there's been a lot of acquisitions because obviously all 3 of those components help inform each other and make each of those tools better. And then we have the traditional concept of guided navigation, right? So we have traditional category navigation, but then within that, we have guided navigation. Are you looking for, if it's a gift website, then you can search in categories by events, activities, time of year, which person, is it a male, is it a female, et cetera, et cetera. And then, of course, you can filter down by budget from there. And so, through almost like a gift finder type of a scenario. And so what it feels like is we're taking all of these concepts and we're combining them together with a system that allows for a more traditional human-like two-way conversational type of experience, but bringing all of the best of all of those other technologies into the same core, right?
Exactly. We actually integrate with many different vendors on the e-commerce space to get all the information from them and enrich the AI to get better. Okay, so we integrate with Yotpo for reviews, or with Klaviyo for subscribing customers, and many different players. And the whole point is to give more tools for the AI to get better, okay, and also to represent those tools as well, right? So the AI knows reviews, so it can recommend products better based on connecting to Yotpo or other review platforms, and so on. So the AI is an interface, and all those tools together come in as, I would say, as power-ups for the AI to get better.
And I guess in that sense, we can think of your tool as almost a headless commerce platform in its own right.
Exactly.
This is what I want to say. We don't think we're replacing anything. We just think that we are the next evolution. I think there is going to be a lot of solution for other industries. For us in e-commerce, we are like the leading solution, but We think about it like if you already have a tech stack that is great and it's working for you. Okay, great. We have the AI, we have a chat, connected it in one click, give it the power up, and you're getting advantage on others that don't have the same things. And same with skills. We're giving like more and more sales skills and support skills to the AI. So the brand can decide what skill you want the AI to have. It's coming already to the website very smart with our unique technology, giving the impact, but now we can teach them more stuff and it's getting more credit and like it more and trust it more. And also adding the power-ups, as Shauli said.
I guess the other thing is that effectively you're creating a very large context window for the AI, right? Whereas in your traditional search bar, what would typically happen is, I would say, maybe Nike running shoe, for example, in my enterprise search bar, right? I'm probably not going to put red Nike running shoe, men's size 11, whatever, right? I'm not going to put that. We've been trained by Google and by enterprise site search to not put too many variables in the query string, because usually those search functions start to fail when you start to get too many variables in a single query string. But I suppose the benefit of using AI is that we can keep that context window open so that we can now start to collect more and more information with each interaction so that we can do a better job of narrowing down the results. So in that sense, AI is significantly better than your traditional enterprise search bar or even the Google search bar.
I will tell you a secret that it's not a secret anymore, but today for the brands that we're having, the conversion from our solution is higher from the search and the menu together. And even more than that, if you're having a search, let's say that you're searching for something, okay? And you're having a mistake or putting like too many keywords, what you're going to get is, okay, we couldn't find that or something like that. With the AI...
Or zero results, basically.
Exactly. Or like the wrong colors or sizes because it didn't treat it. In our solution, we call it guided shopping experience. It's going to ask you a question to get more accurate. So it's never going to be, okay, this is the answer and that's it. This is the error and that's it. This is, and showing you the wrong results. No, it was saying, oh, you meant for this, for X. And then you're like, I'm not sure, but you have it, or maybe in a different color, and it will find you. This is guided shopping experience and not one question and one answer.
It's what you said is correct. In search, traditional search, you have to refine the search query. So if you wrote something, you didn't get the results you wanted. Now you have to understand, okay, what did I do wrong? How do I refine it? And this whole process is you doing by yourself. So you're working with a static, I would say, machine, and you have to refine it. Here, the AI is proactive about it, and the AI will say, okay, I've got tons of those. You want running shoes? Okay, I've got around 500 different pairs. Do you have anything specific in mind? So the AI will be proactive about telling you that it's a lot. Okay, let's be more specific. And this is what's amazing about it.
I think what's the key takeaway here for me, Yoav, is that because you have a two-way, you have a question and answer model, right? That's the base model. Here it's a question and answer. It's a two-way interactive model that is always going to be superior to a one-way query results filter model, right? At the end of the day, if we can bring a more conversational structure to the search find model, then by definition, we are going to be doing better filtering. We're going to be doing better searching. We're going to be doing better finding before we ever even present a single product back to the customer.
You're totally right. We have a section that we call like a knowledge base. This is how we train the AI. First of all, we're training it from all the information on the website and everything that's related to that. But one of the things that we realize is that people not always asking about the things that exist on the website. Think about it for a second. D2C brands have a very difficult job. They're trying to guess all the time what is the right text, the right image. I'm doing marketing right. I'm answering with the support in the right time. They always ask questions. They never have answers, and they're guessing and doing tests and spending money. And Facebook become more expensive. TikTok become to be more expensive. It's not easy, but what if when you're talking to your clients, okay, and refining everything, the AI coming back and telling you, hey, listen, this is the top 10 topics that people need assistance. And this is where they need it. This is what we guided them to buy. And this is what they search for. This is the missing information that people ask about, but not exist. So I couldn't answer them. So I moved them to a help desk for a human to answer them, and then learning from the human answer and inject it back to the AI, and then you know how to answer that. So I think the biggest thing that we see now with all the hundreds of brands using us is that brands don't know what they don't know. And in the moment that they're getting this feedback, pricing changing, marketing strategy changing, policies changing, description of products changing, even the checkout button changing, because now there is a feedback.
But I think you make a very good point, which is that we use certain language as a brand to refer to our own products, right? We use certain language. If we're a shoe seller, we use a certain language to refer to our products. And each brand has certain language to refer to certain product features or functions or something like that. But what's missing from that view of our products is context, right? So at the end of the day, the context for the customer is missing. So it's all fine and good for Nike to say, okay, we've got this air sole, or we've got this feature or function, but how and why should that matter to what I'm going to be using the product for? And being able to match up this feature or function with what I'm going to be using the product for, it is that connection that is really hard to make. And it assumes that customers know what they should be searching for in terms of a feature or a function or a name brand or name of a capability. It makes a huge assumption that they will know how to search your catalog in the way that you've structured it. And that is a massively huge assumption. And it's an often incorrect assumption to make.
This is exactly what's happening. Like the brand telling to the customers, this is how I want you to find products. But when you start speaking to the AI, you realize that what you build is not what your customers want. They're asking about other things that making them make the right decision. And the AI is good as the data that the brand gives.
Of course.
And what if the data that until now you brought is not perfect for your customers? Now you have the chance to know that because you're speaking to your customers and they're telling you, I need this information, I need this, the price is too low, it's too expensive, there is exchange problem. They're telling you those stuff by just typing it because this is what they're feeling. And we're analyzing that and giving back to the brand. After 1 week, we saw brands changing everything. And it's great, but the data, if you give the insights to the brand, it's changing everything, not only lifting the revenues.
What's amazing about our solution is that because we have such high engagement, because of the way the AI approaches customers and creates this really high engagement with customers, what we get is feedback at scale. So there's a lot of conversations that are happening that we actually analyze later on, and offline, we analyze and bring those insights to the merchants. And what they get is exactly how people name their products, name their categories, things that they didn't know at all. And we have many merchants that completely changed their SEO strategies just because of the insights that we gave them. They understood that they're naming their categories completely wrong, and people are calling them in a different way. If they change the way their categories are named, or they even invested in SEO in those keywords, or in Google PPC in those keywords, they would get much better results.
Yeah, because you then are in a position where you're using the language of the customer instead of using the language of the company.
Exactly.
And there's oftentimes a massive disconnect between those two.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the other thing I like is that the insights are similar to the kind of insights you would get, for example, if you're using an enterprise search platform, an Algolia, whatever, then you have a lot of queries that have 0 results. And when I used to, back in the day when I was doing site search optimization, the first thing I would go to is all the queries with 0 results. And from there, we either needed to redirect them to a certain category page, for example, that had products that matched those queries, or we would, as you say, do some SEO work on the site, do some merchandising work on the site, or that would be the basis for new product development or new product acquisition so that we could meet those queries for products that we couldn't yet sell, that we didn't yet have in the catalog. And so it site search optimization, there's so much rich data in the queries that people are putting into a query bar, but certainly it feels like this takes it one step further because we don't just have the query specific data, but we have the context that goes along with it.
Exactly.
And how do you guys position yourselves? If I was to log into the Shopify App Store today, I'm sure that if I typed in conversational AI or something like that, I'm sure I'd probably get 50 results nowadays. Even platforms like Gorgeous with their Convert product that they've recently added, they build that as a bit of a concierge type of a service. How do you guys see yourselves in the context of some other platforms that aim to do something similar or pitch themselves as doing something similar? How do you guys see yourself differentiating versus this flood of AI technology that's coming to market?
So I think the first thing that we do completely different is our behavioral AI. So the fact that we collect all those events and we're able to predict in real time when is the right time to approach. We don't just approach after 30 seconds being on the website, because that doesn't work. By the way, we started like that. It's funny. We started like that. We started 3 years ago. We approached customers on the websites and wanted to see how it works. And we approached them after 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 10 seconds. We tried different things. They scrolled down 50%. And you know what happened? We reduced the conversion rate of the website. We just harass people, right? And saying, hey, how can I help you? No, it doesn't work. So that's why we came to the conclusion we need to do something smarter. And in my previous role in completely different company, it was in the publishing tech space. We did something similar where we could predict user behavior on user next behavior on the website based on the previous behavior. So that's what led me to develop this, where again we're able to predict based on all those different data points when they're going to leave, and then come in with the contextual conversation based on their behavior. And that's something that really separates us from anyone else. Because again, you can have the most amazing conversation, AI conversation, but if you didn't get engagement, if the customer, the shopper didn't engage in the conversation, then it means nothing. So if you have a 0.5 engagement rate with your AI solution, it means nothing if we have 5% engagement rate, because we have way more conversations. AI has way more conversations than the average tool.
It's important to say that I will not go into the technology too much, but there is the behavioral AI, digital emotion, and other parts that relate to the AI, but also data sets that we created that unique to us that enabling all this data. But when you're looking on the platform, this is awesome with technology, but when you're looking on the market and everyone, in the end, the only one-stop solution in the market is giving sales and support with the same AI. We're giving the ability of the skills that not exist, and we have the power-ups that integrate natively to all the text that exists already on your website, so you can power the AI. And this is giving you what you call a control panel on the AI. It's great to have AI, but you want the control, you want the safety, you want everything that's related to that. And we are GDPR compliant. We have a full technology. It took us 1 year to develop just to make sure that there is no illusions to the AI. And it's tailor-made to each brand. So we understand the traffic in the first 24 hours, then start to optimize themselves after 1 week. Depends on the size, it can be shorter. Is really fitting to the brand. You cannot take this AI and put it on another brand that's selling the same shoes. No, it's fit to the traffic, to the website, to the knowledge, with everything, the components that we said. And it's a very different approach, one-stop solution for all the funnel from shopping to customers. Those things unique us. By the way, this is what we call AI concierge. Not sales assistant, not support assistant. This is the full package of a concierge.
And two questions that drop out of that whole sort of presentation around how you work. First of all, have you heard of a platform called Nibble, and do you integrate with them? Because they bring price negotiation into the AI conversation, and it feels many brands today are willing to negotiate similar to how they might negotiate in a retail store within certain boundaries and within certain rules. So it feels like they would be a natural integration for you guys to be able to bring price negotiation into your AI concierge experience. It feels, and I'm happy to, if you haven't heard of them or you haven't ever worked with them before, I'm happy to make an introduction. I've had them on the podcast before.
Amazing introduction.
So,
I would just say this is exactly our philosophy. Like, we can build it, but why? If there is a good solution, like Nibble in the market, come join to the marketplace that we have. It's a power up. We will push you to the clients that we have just for them to use you. It's another power up that is amazing. And there is great companies like Nibble that made it.
Yes, they're incredible, and the technology that they've created, and the UX that they've created, in the back and forth negotiation for people to feel like they got a special deal, it's pretty incredible. And the conversion rate lift that they see just with their technology is pretty incredible on its own. So I think in combination with this concierge type of service, to give the concierge the ability to negotiate price, especially where someone has indicated that they are price sensitive, or if they've asked for something, for example, if they've said, show me the shoes, the running shoes that are on sale on special price, then that opens the conversation about price negotiation. And then the second thing I would ask is, at what point, or do you feel that you are a total replacement to something like a Gorgias, for example, or would you hand off at some point, let's say in the conversation, let me talk to an agent, or let me talk to a real person, or let's say they said something like that, would then you hand off to something like a Gorgias live chat system? How do you, or do you see yourself as a complete replacement for live chat platforms?
No, so we totally, so like Yoav said, our philosophy is to integrate with as many platforms as possible. And we encourage merchants to tell us which platforms they want us to integrate with. And we do that, by the way, every 2 weeks we come out with a new integration. And one of our integrations is Gorgias, and we integrate with Help Scout and Rich Panel and the likes. Okay. And this is something that we actually see as a must integration. If you have Gorgias, great. Do it on the first second. After you integrate with Shopify, integrate with Gorgias, so we can hand off the conversation to a human agent if the conversation goes into a place that the AI doesn't know how to answer, or if the shopper specifically requests for a human agent. So definitely, we don't want to replace the help desk with Gorgias. That's not our deal. We want to provide an AI interface that is able to reduce support tickets and help with shopping, but our intention is not to replace the help desk platforms. We know that the CS, the support representatives, love their platforms. They use that every day. We don't want to replace that. We want to encourage them to use that, but use us as the front interface to help them out with reducing those repetitive support tickets that they get, and only hand them off when it's really problematic conversations, something went wrong, and they should deal with that. What a human should do and not a robot should do, basically.
Yeah, makes complete sense. And is there anything your customers are asking you for today that you don't yet do, or what other gaps are you seeing in the market that you think you guys are uniquely positioned to fill over the next, say, 6, 12, 18 months? What's high on your radar?
First of all, integrations that comes in. Again, every day we get 5 different requests for integration. So we have a backlog of hundreds of integrations. And again, we do that by voting. So the more votes we get for a specific integration, we'll do that. And we really listen to our customers. So we really listen to our merchants. If they want more capabilities of what the AI can do on the support side or on the sales side. So if the AI, we're not coming out with the ability to completely modify order details. If you want to change variants, you want to change sizes, you're able to do that with AI now, and many more things to come. But again, this is something that we always listen to our merchants and where they want to take the platform forward. So,
love it. And I know you already integrate with Shopify. Do you integrate with any other e-commerce platforms today, or what's high on your priority list there?
So not at the moment, but we also, this is another thing, we listen to the market. So we're collecting votes about where we should integrate next. And we are thinking about a second e-commerce platform to integrate with next. We still don't know which one. This is something that to be decided by the market, basically.
And how many of your customers, if any, are B2B sellers, manufacturers, wholesalers, distributors selling B2B, selling to other businesses? And do you see that as because that's a market I play heavily in, that's a market I specialize in, and I see this as being a pretty amazing opportunity to improve the B2B sales experience and purchasing experience as well, not just the D2C or B2C experience.
For sure. We actually have a few merchants that do both, that sell wholesale and sell to consumers, a coffee brand and a few other brands that do that. So yeah, we totally support that.
Yeah, and the reason I say that specifically is because in the B2B world, oftentimes for highly engineered products that have very specific attributes that make the decision about a specific application or what it'll work with, or load carrying capacity of a steel beam, or power carrying capacity of a power panel, or different things, it feels like the B2B world would even, in some respects, that this type of technology would be even more useful in that world because of the types of specifications that are oftentimes part of the attribute sets of some of these highly complex products in the B2B world.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, this is another direction we're looking into. We're going more into B2B. I have to say that we have a few merchants that have very complex products, and it works like that with them. So for example, a merchant that sells auto parts, that's super complicated. You have no idea the inquiries that
of course, or fitment and cross-referencing across OEM part numbers and all sorts of stuff.
Exactly. The beauty of it is that AI is knowledgeable about sometimes hundreds of thousands of different SKUs, and AI can manage all that and have a full conversation and be able to drive the shopper to the right item.
Love it. And how do you guys make your money? You're a SaaS platform. Do you charge it? Do you charge based on the number of interactions, the size of the catalog, the modules that somebody uses? Like, how do you guys make your money?
So we have multiple tiers, and we charge based on the volume of visitors to the website on a monthly basis.
Okay, amazing, amazing. And you've talked a little bit about what's next. Now, this is where, as we come down to the end of our time together, and I really appreciate your time, this is where I get to flip the script. This is where I get to hand the microphone over to you guys, and I get to let you ask me one question, any question you like. It can be personal or professional. So, Yoav and Shauli from Rep AI, what is your question for me today?
What is the best last book that you read?
Wow. It's been a while, actually, since I've read a good book, to be honest. I do most of my reading online. But I'll tell you one book that stands out to me, actually two books that I have mentioned, actually, I think on the podcast before, that were transformative in my view of business, my view of life. Michael Gerber has a couple of books on business, and E-Myth Revisited to me was transformational in how I view running a business and how I view being an employee of a business, or to be actually the leader of a business, and what that requires in transitioning out of being a single employee company into an actual business. I think operationally, that was a book that really transformed my view of business operations and how that should work and become scalable as a business. And then Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand, that probably really impacted my view of the world and the transformative power of entrepreneurship, independence, reducing the power of the state, reducing the power of collectivism, and the power of individualism to lift society and benefit society as a whole. So selfishness viewed through the lens of it actually being beneficial to society as opposed to a net negative for society. I think those two books were probably the most transformative for me in terms of how I view business and life.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I wish you all the best with your technology, and I look forward to catching up with you guys again soon.
Same here. Thank you so much, Jason.
Are you a B2B or D2C e-commerce merchant? Then head over to greenwoodconsulting.net to learn how we can help you scale your business.